Controversy surrounds President Joe Biden's decision to provide Ukraine with cluster bombs, despite their history of civilian casualties. As the conflict intensifies, critics condemn the move while allies express concern, raising questions about the use of these banned weapons in a proxy war. Stay tuned as we delve into the debate surrounding the decision and its implications. Welcome to Slant News. If you want to support, you can subscribe to our channel. US President Joe Biden has defended his difficult decision to provide Ukraine with cluster bombs, despite their track record of causing civilian casualties. Biden stated that it took him some time to be convinced, but he acted because Ukraine was running out of ammunition. While Ukraine's leader praised the move, the UK's Prime Minister expressed discouragement towards the use of cluster bombs, and Spain criticized the decision. Human rights groups, some Democrats, and Moscow also voiced opposition to the decision. Cluster bombs, which are banned by over 120 countries, have been used by both Russia and Ukraine during the war. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan acknowledged the risk of civilian harm due to unexploded bombs but emphasized the need to supply Ukraine with artillery as the US increases domestic production. He claimed that the cluster bombs being sent to Ukraine have a lower failure rate than those used by Russia. The decision by Biden to provide cluster munitions bypasses US law, which prohibits the use, production, or transfer of such munitions with a failure rate of over 1%. Earlier in the war, the White House condemned Russia's potential use of cluster and vacuum bombs as a potential war crime. However, the move to supply Ukraine with these weapons has drawn criticism from various quarters, including the UN Human Rights Office, which called for an immediate halt to their use. Russian President Vladimir Putin accused the US and its allies of engaging in an expanding proxy war in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed gratitude for the military aid package from the US, stating that it would bring Ukraine closer to victory and democracy. Ukraine's counteroffensive has been hindered by a lack of adequate firepower, according to the country's military commander-in-chief. Human rights groups, including Amnesty International and the US Cluster Munition Coalition, criticized the decision, highlighting the grave threat cluster munitions pose to civilian lives. US lawmakers' reactions varied, with some Democrats labeling the decision alarming, while others, such as Adam Smith, supported the move to aid Ukraine in retaking its territory. Republican leaders believe the move would enhance Ukraine's ability to eliminate Russian forces efficiently. Spain criticized the decision due to its commitment to the Convention on Cluster Munitions, and the UK's Prime Minister referred to the UK's discouragement of their use. NATO Secretary-General Jens Stoltenberg stated that the military alliance does not take a position on cluster munitions. Over 120 countries have committed to the Convention on Cluster Munitions, but the US, Ukraine, and Russia are not signatories. Both sides in the war have been accused by Human Rights Watch of using cluster munitions, resulting in numerous civilian deaths and injuries. Here we wrap up the news on this topic. And be sure to subscribe to our channel.